All right, in this video, I want to talk about the state of travel ball and kind of my thoughts on it. I played pro ball and I've coached travel ball for 10 years. I'm out of it now, but I have a lot of thoughts on this because I've been in that world. I ran my own program for like 5 or 6 years with a bunch of teams. So I've been in this world. So this is the way I would look at it, as a parent. And honestly, too, this is, could be helpful for coaches as well. So the way things have gone is travel ball is now ultra hyper competitive. It's actually big business. There's, these teams that are, national level teams where they're flying kids out, flying parents out from all over. And it's, huge business. They're making tons of money. And then there's, levels below that. And so the way to look at it is not that, travel ball is, purely player development. It's where you're going to learn exactly where your kid fits in the competitive landscape of baseball at that moment, okay? So that's an incredibly valuable thing because then you can say to your kid, or if you're a kid watching this, you can self-analyze, this is where I fit in this moment of time. The reason I say in this moment of time is because don't think if you're 11 or 12 and you're not one of the top players in the country, that's just who you are. I know tons of guys that were the top in the country at 12 that were backups in high school. And then the opposite, they were nobody at 12 and they're big leaguers with like 15-year big league careers. So it's where you are at that moment of time. Use that knowledge to get better, to motivate yourself and understand how that works, how moving up works, how being competitive works, because understanding how to fit in onto a team, being the bottom on the team, being in the middle, being on the top, those are all life skills that are going to help you no matter if you're in the business world, in an office, if you're on, teams the rest of your life in high school, college, professionally, whatever it is, you're going to have to know how to fit in different levels. And so I would absolutely tell people, if you're on a team and you're on the bottom, learn how to be a role player, and that's a valuable skill. If you're in the middle, learn that. If you're, at the top, learn how to be a star and be a leader. That's very important. So there's lots of value in playing travel ball, but then here's the second thing. It is all about competition. It is big business. So know the incentives and understand as a parent or as a player what your incentives are and what your goals should be, because they're not going to line up directly with the travel ball program or coach. Because if you're a player or, the parent of a player, what are your goals? To play in college, to play high school or pro, whatever, to keep going, to be healthy, okay? So your goal isn't to win necessarily a 12-year-old tournament. So you have to be very honest with where you're at. Does pitching a lot at this age, help his career? For some people, it could, because it's giving them a lot of, confidence, and they're in a great spot where they're not over pitching. They're not throwing too much. They're able to pitch with command, change of speeds, and they're doing it the right way. But for a lot of guys, it actually is going to be counterproductive because they're throwing max effort. They're, pitching way too much. They're going 150 pitches. And so understand what's in your interest as a player or as a parent, because it's not going to naturally align, and that's okay. So don't get, super mad at the coach for things not aligning, because you have your, coaches that you can go to for lessons. You have online programs that you can be doing that are all about player development. But when you're developing yourself, you want to test yourself to see how much better you're getting and where you're at. So that's how to think about it. I'm getting lessons. I'm working hard on my own. I'm doing all this stuff. And then I'm testing myself to see where I'm at. And I'm not getting angry at the coach for, not playing me, because the coach is doing his best to win, because it's a business, okay? So it's actually good if you can look at it rationally. It's good that the coach is seeing it that way, because then he's giving you very honest feedback about where he sees where you're at that moment of time. And so some people, they get into this whole thing of like, oh, the coach doesn't like me, coach, whatever. And there are situations where the coach treats certain players unfairly, of course, but by and large, it's it's very based on merit. And if the coach doesn't like a certain player, a lot of times it could be because he's not a good team player. He's lazy or whatever. And to think about all of those things. Okay, I'm not getting playing time. How do I be the best teammate? How do I work the hardest? How do I get better, of course, too? But all of those things come into play because when you're a player, you have to look at it as, how do I give value to my team and have the coach like me so that I can keep this same model of understanding how to be on a team the whole way up in my career, so that I become the type of guy that coaches will always like, teammates will always like, and then I can keep adding value and give myself the best chance of playing in high school, playing in college, playing professionally. And I know this as a player and as a coach. Now I've coached kids that were 9 and 10 that are now, getting scholarships for Division I. And so I'm seeing the kids that started at a young age, how they were, how they worked, what their personality was, and how they progressed all the way up. And so I can see this. The biggest key is seeing your travel ball team as an honest assessment of where you're at, and then just working hard and trying to be the best teammate and, the hardest worker, and then, adding value through your performance, of course, and trying to move up. Not seeing it as they're against you, they don't want to play you because they have favoritism or whatever. Generally, who the coaches favor is the ones that are doing the best. And that's how it's always going to be. So if you can look at it like this as a player, it's going to give you the best competitive mindset for working your way up, because it's never going to change. You're going to get to high school, it's the same thing. College, it's the same thing. You're going to get to college, there's a guy that's on a full scholarship. He's going to get more opportunities than you if you're a walk-on. But in my experience, I went to Division I. There were guys with full scholarships, didn't perform, and eventually coach stopped playing them. But of course, he got advantage at the beginning. They were guys in college that were walk-ons. Of course, at the beginning, coach didn't want to give them playing time. They worked their butt off like nobody's ever seen, earned their way, and then some of these guys made the major leagues because it's based on merit eventually, okay? And maybe you have to work hard to show the coach, and maybe there are favoritism, points, but by and large, you can control your own destiny more than in anything else. So that's how I would look at it. And let me know your thoughts, because in the world today, it's a controversial thing. Some people, hate travel ball. Some people love it. I think overall, it's good if it's looked at the right way, and if parents are rational about it, not pitching their kids too much, not playing on 3 teams, not, burning out. Also, rec ball is great also. There's so many nuances, but travel ball is here to stay, and overall it's giving kids a chance to be competitive at a young age and to have fun. I played on, a lot of travel ball teams when I was younger, had amazing memories, and, I never got injured, had a great career. So if you do it smart, it'll be an incredible experience, but it's about knowing exactly what you're getting into and being rational about it. Hopefully this was helpful.